Well, welcome to Faith Full Circle. Faith Full Circle, and welcome to our brothers and sisters, our fellow sojourners on this journey. I don't know what else to say other than welcome to a show that is dedicated to just helping people to walk.
And this is Brian.
And I'm Brian.
And I'm Will.
And that's who we are.
That's who we are.
Welcome to the show. Today we're going to talk about something that Will has a deep passion for and is engaged and involved in with his wife. And I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna let Will, kind of take things over and do what he, talk about this, because I think it's important that we talk about it.
Absolutely.
Go for it.
So my wife and I, Stephanie, and myself volunteer for a ministry called Deeper Still, which is a post-abortive, I don't want to say recovery program, but it's a retreat, a 3-day retreat twice a year, where men and women who are post-abortive, Christians who are post-abortive, come to this retreat and they receive healing through the blood of Jesus Christ. And the volunteers facilitate it through prayer and various exercises, I'll say, to just, I don't want to say bring closure, but come to an understanding that that child was a child, is a child, that child is in heaven, and that child forgives, and Christ forgives. And we just had 2 weeks ago, we had our fall retreat, and they always go well, but this one was interesting from a staffing issue. We had 9 guests. We call them guests. We had 7 women and 9 men, and put a bookmark in that. I'd like to get back to that ratio. But unfortunately, there was a mistake on the date of the retreat.
Oh, wow.
Now, we're Deeper Still, Eastern Pennsylvania. We get people from New York, New Jersey, Western PA.
Wow.
There's no rule about our catchment area. There was a mistake in the date, and it turned out okay, but we were short-staffed for, I don't want to say for the whole full retreat, but we try to have, it's almost 2.5 volunteers per participant, per guest, for various reasons. But a lot of it, the individual ministries are one-on-one or two-on-one, I should say. But we have I don't know how other Deeper Stills work. I've never heard anything negative about them, but because how should I say this? There's a process. We don't deviate from the process. But for myself, I felt a little concerned because 2 of the senior men that volunteer, who know the nuts and bolts, they've been doing this for years, they weren't going to be there the entire weekend.
Oh, okay.
So myself and another volunteer, male volunteer, we're both relatively new. Neither of us are post-abortive, so we've not gone through a retreat. I was a little nervous, but things just come together. The Lord puts people together. Our director, Trish Sclafani, she is a juggernaut in organization and discernment about how to build a retreat team, and it just went really well. It was
awesome.
It was one of the easiest retreats that I've been involved in. The participants were very, very receptive. You have people coming in there with all sorts of hurt.
Sure.
And
I can imagine.
Especially, from the women's side. We get a small or a short little biography of some of the things these women have been through, and just in a not even a paragraph, a couple lines on an intake form. It's horrific.
I believe it.
It's horrific, some of the things these women have been put through. But this retreat was no different. It's every imaginable trauma that a woman can be put through comes through those doors twice a year at a Deeper Still retreat.
Right.
The men volunteers don't interact with the women at that level, on the personal level. We don't
I would imagine
have very much. There's group sessions, and then there's individual sessions. So I don't hear the horror stories.
Right.
But they're there. They're there. And that brings me to, I'm going to tell a good story. It sounds a little down right now. The one thing that I've find truly, I understand it, I hate it, and it shouldn't be. 7 women and 2 men. That's mathematically, it's almost impossible.
Right.
It takes a man to create a baby. It takes a man to get to the point where a woman is considering abortion. And men do not come deeper still retreats. I don't know what they do in other programs, but the lack of men
Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
it's sad.
It is.
We,
It's sad
they've
because
bought
we've divorced ourselves from it.
they've there's so many there's levels. I mean, how many years have we been told we don't count? This is a woman's issue.
Right. You have nothing to say.
You have nothing to say. All of it.
Yep.
All the cliches.
I've watched all the videos. I've seen videos and I've watched them, and those are all the excuses that people give.
And I give this out too for myself personally. You take away, you pull something out from me and say, "Oh, you don't need to worry about that." Woo!
It's out. Yep.
Yep, I'm good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'd
I'll
rather
keep
watch
moving.
football on
Right.
on the Sunday afternoon than actually do the work.
Then deal with heartache.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's and I'm not scolding, and I'm
of
we're
course
gonna
not.
we're gonna plug at the end. We have a retreat scheduled in April. I'm gonna plug this deeper still as much as I
Sure.
can on this podcast.
Yep.
But men need to step up.
They need to stop buying the lie
It is a lie.
that they're not involved, that they have nothing to say, that they have no skin in the game in this thing. You do.
Even on a physical level. I mean, you provided the half the DNA to that child. But this was interesting retreat, and this was the first time, and I've been doing this for 4 years. This is the first time we've had 2 men. It's usually one.
Wow.
And there was a lot of excitement because the 2 men, one was 30 and the other was 27. And I'll get back to the 27-year-old, but there was a lot of excitement amongst wow, these are the guys we need to reach. These are the guys that are coming into church. These are the guys, the young guys. And you hear anecdotal evidence about young men coming back to the church, coming back to Christianity. There was a lot of excitement over that this time around. Yeah, they're always good retreats.
Right.
The only better retreat is the next one. That's what we say.
That's fantastic. Yeah, it's great. It's a great way of looking at it. It's a great point.
But you had a 30-year-old and a 27-year-old. He came with his fiance.
Wow, the 27-year-old.
Now I got to use what's the word, anonymity here.
Oh yeah. No names.
No
Yeah,
names. A 27-year-old and his fiance was 25, 26, similar age. A year ago, they had a chemical abortion, the pill, the abortion pill.
Plan B, I guess they call it.
Yeah, I'm getting a education in all this that I don't want.
Yeah, I bet.
But apparently it was a horrific abortion. The baby passed into the toilet. I try to keep this PG. It was a mess. And, I'm not saying one's better than the other. They're engaged to be married next year, but they decided to come to a deeper still retreat. Now, one of the things we do as volunteers, and we're not psychiatrists or psychologists or sociologists, we're just volunteers, but we watch people's body language, their demeanor, see how they're reacting to certain teachings. What are they doing during the prayer, during the worship? We just watch for that. We're watching for receptiveness. I don't want to lose my headphones here, but the gentleman, the 27-year-old, he was sitting here, and there was a big end table. And then right angle, his fiance was sitting. And her body language, he's here, lose the mic. She's trying to get as far away from him as possible. She's literally sitting like
she's turning away from him.
Physically, had her back to him.
Yeah.
She had her back to him. And we all noticed this. It was so obvious. And I was thinking to myself, these two are supposed to get married?
Right. And this is something that's in their relationship between them.
Just
it's
from
a wedge, yeah.
Right. From the beginning. That was Friday. The guests show up around 2:00 on a Friday, and Saturday is the real hard sessions.
Yeah.
I saw them Saturday morning after just a couple hours of sessions. They were walking around the grounds, holding hands, and I thought, that's better. By the end of the weekend, they're like, sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. It was the transformation.
Right.
Was
that's fantastic.
So much. So I thought it would be, if they would have had their marriage license with them, we could have married them, I think, on Sunday.
Yeah.
They were that turned around.
Isn't that awesome?
It
What
really
God does
is.
in a life.
I mean, you see a 27. That's actually young to get married nowadays. It seems.
Yes, it is. I mean, 30 is even
It's
young.
the
Almost.
average.
Yeah, they're almost waiting 30. Between 30 and 35 seems to be the average.
Yeah, it keeps going up.
It does keep moving up.
But these are two young a young couple. They're born again.
Mm-hmm.
I actually know the church that they attend because
Good.
they're local.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just the transformation. It was just not only did you see, usually we had a couple once before. It was, I don't want to say they were difficult, but it was more challenging. They were older.
Well, that was one of my questions, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but how many people in the ratio of men and women? How many of them are actually coming as a couple? Or is it usually just the man is separate from any of the women there? He's just coming for himself because of a post-abortive situation.
In my experience, the men generally come because they had an abortion in the past with an ex-girlfriend, not usually a wife. It's usually just an ex-girlfriend.
Right, I gotcha.
They get saved or they recommit to a church, and it just becomes an issue. It's always an issue.
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, it's always hanging there until you deal with it.
Again, I don't the men issue. A lot of our volunteers, most of them are women.
Right. I imagine so.
Oh yeah, most of them are women, and I know some of them. Their husbands were involved in their abortion, and they have nothing to do with the Deeper Still program.
Right.
There's just this resistance, this shutting down, this veil, not a veil, it's a wall that comes down between husbands and wives over this issue, and it's sad.
It is sad. I mean, when you think about that that's that's the deepest relationship you have with someone, and there is something standing in the way of that relationship.
Right. And you can see your wife, how excited she is about, oh, what are you doing? Hey, I'm going to a Deeper Still. Oh, have fun. You got food in the refrigerator? How am I going to eat? I don't know if that's what's going on, but, my negative outlook is just like, for my wife and I mean, she had an abortion 6 months before we met. I didn't even know her.
Right.
What's this have to do with me? It had everything to do with me. She brought that into the
she brought that baggage along.
Day one.
Yeah, and that's how it is.
Day one.
But like you said, on that other the flip side of that coin, men have been told for 50 years it's not your business. You don't have a uterus. You don't. You have nothing to say in this. But I'm supposed to deal with. As a man, I'm supposed to deal with this in my marriage because it's always there, and she's dealing with it. And if she's dealing with it, I'm dealing with it.
Yeah.
There's just a reality to it. It's like they make it sound like it's a victimless thing. It's not.
That's what they want.
Yeah, of course it's what they want. It's what it's made to sound like, but it's not true.
I've never met anybody who hasn't been victimized.
I can't imagine. Right? I can't imagine there is anybody.
And then on top of it, to be victimized twice through the men's attitudes towards this, it's. It's a sad thing. It's something we all know in the Deeper Still retreat. We've had some of the most passionate things I've heard from some of our male volunteers is guys getting down on their knees and apologizing to women for what men have done in the church, in the relationship, marriage relationships, the husbands and wives, in the church, the criminality of some of the things these women have gone through, perpetuated by men. And it's sad.
It's all sin. We tell women of as many partners as you want to have. Do whatever you want to do.
And when you chose, and you feel reasonably safe through birth control, through the, ultimately, if something happens and I get pregnant, I can
do away with it.
I can deal with it.
Yeah.
Who are you having sex with? You're not, your filter is off.
Yeah. You're not using discretion with who you're engaging with.
Right.
That's the thing. And so that's the other part is that, that's the kind of guy that's going to do that kind of thing.
Personal story. I know my wife's, I like I said, I never met the gentleman who got her pregnant. But when I came along, I'm like, hey, I'm here to rescue this woman. I'm here to be the knight in shining armor.
Right.
I'm married. I'm an alcoholic.
Right.
I'm a pothead. She didn't attach herself to me because I was going to save her.
Right.
She was looking to get slammed again.
Right.
That's a tough thing to swallow.
It-
I had to swallow that pill
Sure.
and come to a realization of that.
But thank God he intervened.
Thank God he intervened.
Yeah.
No, I thank God he intervened.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm sitting here today.
Yep.
These,
Amen.
these conversations we're having, this podcast we're having, this faithful circle start
Right.
here.
Faithful
comes-
circle.
Faithful circle. It just comes back to God. And
It
the only
does.
reason I'm sitting here today is
Yeah.
because of my wife's healing.
Yeah.
Otherwise I would have come along screaming and kicking. What do
Right.
I got to do with it? What do I got to do with this? What do I got to do this?
Right. It's not mine.
I put my feet in the water and I just kept going.
Right.
I just kept going. And I tell everybody, any words out of my mouth that sound even remotely good from a theological stance, that's not me.
Right. And it's like that for all of us.
Right.
It's not any of us.
Right.
It's God working in our lives. It's the Holy Spirit speaking in our hearts, speaking through us. That's just a reality of it.
Right.
Because there's none of the Bible tells us that there's no one who seeks after God, not one. And it's like, yeah, how do you deal with that? You just got to turn it all over to Him
Right.
and just say, man, Lord, I'm just here. I am. Use me.
Right.
That's all you can do. You know? Make yourself available, and you're doing that. You're doing that through Deeper Still, and that's fantastic. I mean, that's what a great outreach that is. I mean, that's a great ministry.
It's something. I mean, there's 36 chapters. One's not fully operational yet, but chapters seem to beget chapters. Is that the right word?
Yeah, yeah.
They spawn other
They spawn them,
chapters.
yep.
We've Deeper Still, Eastern Pennsylvania has their fingerprint on 3 new chapters.
That's awesome.
It started in the Knoxville area.
That's awesome.
And it sort of spread up and down the Appalachians, one side or the other.
Sure.
You know, but it just keeps growing. I don't have the date for our next retreat. It's in April.
Well, I mean, we've got time between now and then, and
Right.
as you get the dates, we'll keep announcing them.
We'll plug it. But
Yeah.
if you're curious now, just go online, Deeper Still Ministries, and it'll come up, and
Yeah.
maybe you can find something close
That's
to
awesome.
you. Look into it. Yeah, look into it.
Yeah, you
I
got
highly
that right.
recommend it. And if you're a guy, come on.
Yeah, and you especially because men are dealing with post-abortive things as well.
Yeah.
They just don't recognize it. They don't see it. They don't recognize it in that they don't want to. It's something that affects us all.
Yeah,
You
well,
know,
what are you
anybody who's
supposed to
been
do?
engaged in this.
One of the teachings we have a shepherd staff, and we have a sword. And Stephanie and I teach this session. I know how to use a sword. Swords are cool, and during the session, I pull it out.
It's
and I'm like,
offensive. It's an offensive tool.
yeah, I know what to do with this.
Right.
We all play as kids. At least we used to.
Yep.
We want to be that's great. We don't have any action figures of shepherds. We don't have the shepherd action figures. But yeah, I mean,
We don't have any G.I. Joseph.
no,
You know,
no, we don't.
it's
But yeah, as a man, there's actually, I'm not trying to. The biology is different.
Sure, it is. Which is why
we're
men-
here to protect.
Yep, and it's why
And the
men
first thing
are
you
divorced
do-
from it because our
Right.
biology is different.
Right.
And there's a difference in our biology.
And when you're not protecting your child by allowing somebody to kill them,
Eliminate them, yeah.
that's something to be reckoned with.
It is.
So I just encourage men
100%.
and women. I mean,
Yeah.
100%. Look into Deeper Still.
Yeah.
Like I said, go online, figure out some way to actually put a plug in.
Yeah.
But,
As soon as we
right.
get things up and running and everything we got the website up and everything else, we will definitely put that in the
no, I
footnotes
appreciate
and all
it.
that.
I
100%.
appreciate it, and you've
Yep.
always, since we've known each other, you've always been very supportive.
Yeah, it's a great thing to do. I mean, it's a great ministry.
Right.
People need help. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what the world tells us. I don't care what the world has to say about this. Oh, it's just a clump of cells. Then why all the emotion around it? That's the crazy thing. Is if you don't support this, they get angry. I mean, angry.
Yeah.
You know, and if you do, then you feel guilt.
I read somewhere that I'm going to work at teaching on this,
Mhm.
but during Baal worship, I've read that when the children were thrown into the fire, everyone would scream. And the author I was reading was speculating that was to cover up the screaming of the child.
Right.
And I thought, I'm not sure if that's true, because you watch some of these protests, and what do people do?
Yeah.
They're screaming. Right? It's almost like there's like this visceral attempt to drown out reason.
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. I have the idea that somehow we're more sophisticated nowadays, than they were back then in the Old Testament Bible when the Jewish people
Right.
were sacrificing their children.
The Jews were.
Jews were, which is what Jeremiah is talking about, and the whole idea that now it's just a clump of cells. We're catching it. We're doing it before it's a human being. No, it's a human being. It is a human being at every stage. It is. It's not like it could be a puppy. It's not. It's gonna come. It's a human being. It is. Once the egg and the sperm come together, it's a human being with separate DNA. It's a real person.
Absolutely.
And it is in the most immature state of life, but it's in a state of life. It is life. That is how life begins. And we still can't replicate that. So don't tell me that it's just a clump of cells. Scientifically, we cannot replicate life. That is something that God does. And so for us to diminish it and say it's just a clump of cells, it's not anything.
Doesn't make it any.
It doesn't make it any less. It's a human being. It's in the most immature state of a human being's life, the very beginning stages. Without the beginning stages, you don't have 9 months and birth. Without the beginning stages, you don't have a toddler, you don't have a teenager, and you don't have an adult. It needs all of those stages.
Yes.
And that's why it's disgusting to me. It's another stage of life.
Right.
And to diminish any stage of life is to diminish what God is doing in someone.
I've never heard a rationale for abortion that I'm entirely
that I can look at and say, oh, that makes sense.
No, I've never heard one.
No.
And
not at all.
I've known examples of women who have carried babies and raised babies born conceived
through rape. Is
yes.
that where you're going? I know where you're going.
Yes.
I understand that. Yeah. And you're right. And it's crazy that we look at life as though it's so cheap. And I'm not going to pull any punches with people. Human beings are created in God's image, and that's it.
That's it.
And if that doesn't make a difference in the way you view human beings, we're not just animals. In fact, we would have more of a problem with people aborting puppies and kittens and calves than we do babies.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what I find so offensive.
Yeah, and a lot of the screaming would come from the same people.
Yeah, and I look at this, and my thought is, well, if you don't, the best way to not have an abortion is to not do things that cause people to have babies.
That's
until you're ready to have babies.
That's true. I agree with that.
And that's not saying that married people don't have abortions.
Right.
They do. But if you're not doing something to keep things from happening, then don't engage in something that you're not willing to have the full consequences of what you're doing. It's not fair.
Well, one of the numbers that Deeper Still gives out is 70% of men and women who have abortions are Christians. They identify as Christian.
85% of the population identifies as, well, I guess nowadays it's about 70% of the population.
Yeah, I'm not going to quibble over that 70% number, but I wonder, okay, there are churches that preach, it's okay. Yeah, do what you want.
There definitely are, yeah.
There are a lot of people that go through they're victims of crime.
Sure.
I'm making it, and there are a lot of people that come to Christ afterwards. And do we have place for them within the church? It's the one thing, it's an uncomfortable thing to be a man or a woman and come forward in a lot of churches and say, I'm post-abortive, because we don't know what to do with that. We'd rather
ignore it,
or I would never. If this number is even close, the 70%, you go into the average large mega church or whatever, you're going to be surrounded by people who are walking around who feel cut off from Jesus Christ. They feel separated. They don't feel worthy. And how much damage is that doing to the church?
Yeah, 100. And how much damage is that doing to that person? That keeps them from engaging.
Their relationships.
And their relationships.
And their families. And their children.
And that's just it. And Jesus Christ didn't come to die just for everybody else but people who have had an abortion. It's one of those sins that he's forgiveness is
sin
for everybody. Everybody.
Yeah, for some reason.
Go ahead. No.
This is This is the one no one wants to talk
Yeah, this is a big one.
about. Right.
You know, this is akin to the sexual sins in the church. If we actually just dealt with it, if we actually lived what James says, hang around each other and confess your sins to one another so that you can be healed. But we can't, because in the church, we're all judging each other.
Right.
We're all looking at each other and going, "You're terrible. Oh my word, I can't believe you did that. I can't believe you did this." Rather than just looking at each other and saying, "Man, Jesus Christ saved me too."
We had to leave. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
We had to leave a church because Steph was vocal about her being post-abortive after her Deeper Still retreat. She's like, I'm saved. I'm.
Yeah.
That's been washed,
It's washed.
away.
Right.
That's no longer me. I no longer carry that stain.
Right.
We had to leave a church.
Wow. Because they wouldn't accept that?
But there was leadership who was post-abortive, and I don't think they were happy. I think they were happier living in that pit.
To not be reminded?
I think so.
Yeah. And wallow in their own.
It was tough.
Because they didn't deal with it.
It was tough.
Sure.
You know, no one ever said you should leave because of this, but it got ugly really quickly afterwards, and I can't find any coincidence there.
Right.
But the good thing is I met you.
Amen, brother.
And here I am.
And here we are. Yeah. I think it's fantastic, and I think it's a great ministry. You know, I'm glad that you talked about it today. I'm glad that you had a great retreat.
They're always great.
And I'm sure they are. I am sure they are, because the focus is Christ in the life of a human being, impacting the things that we've done, impacting the things that we have not dealt with, that we need to deal with, because we all come with baggage. We all have sin. You know, that's the thing. You just start walking through the Bible and you see where it says everybody has sin. But like in Sunday school this morning, we were talking about putting on the full armor of God. And in my head, I'm like, there's another verse that I want, and I didn't want to interrupt where we were at. But in Romans, I think it's chapter 13, and I think it's verse 14, Paul says, put on Christ.
Oh, yeah.
And I just, I'm like, yeah, because the armor is Christ.
Right.
You know, he's our righteousness.
Right.
He's our breastplate.
He's every piece.
He's every piece of the armor. He protects our heads. He protects our hearts. He protects us. And I just, it came to me, and I just like, that is what we have to do, is put on Christ. Christ didn't look at people, and he didn't condemn the woman caught in adultery.
No.
He just put it out there for everybody to actually
look
at
the well.
Examine yourselves. You know, it's like, let the person who hasn't sinned throw the first stone. We all recognize it. We just all like to put someone else in the spotlight so we can take the spotlight off of ourselves. Jesus Christ offends us so much so because he looks at us and says, no, you have to deal with this. The spotlight's on you too. So if you have not sinned, go ahead and throw a stone. But if you have, walk away. And that's what we wind up doing.
I'd pick that stone up and I would end up dropping it on my foot.
Yep.
My naked, sandalless foot.
In sandals.
Right.
But no, I think it's great. I really appreciate you talking about this.
I appreciate your support.
Jesus Christ is everything. And if he's not, he needs to be in your life, everything.
Yeah. They're exhausting retreats. The volunteers do not sleep.
Sure.
You know, you have teachings, you work on them for months, and then you sit down and you see the guests and you realize that I need to tweak this an hour before I got to go up and talk to, and most people aren't public speakers.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm not. I hate talking in front of people.
I like it too much.
I get nervous and I despise talking in front of people.
No,
but I love having like a small class setting or like what we do here, sitting here and just having a conversation.
No, it's exhausting. And Steph, as a married couple, that was the other thing. We had more married couples as team members this retreat.
That's great.
4 married couples.
Wow.
Which is good to show people that this is a man and woman thing. This is a husband and wife thing. But we're 10 minutes down the road, Steph and I, and we're critiquing what we did. We're changing. We're making plans. We're already thinking about April.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, and then, like I said, an hour before or 2 hours before, I'm going to have to change something at the last minute and hope it sticks. But, it keeps me honest. Before we went on live, I'm fundamentally lazy.
Most of us are.
I can't be lazy when it comes to this.
Right.
This is too important.
It is.
The people that I serve with need to hear what I have to say.
Yeah.
The volunteers. One of the things where are we at time wise?
Oh, we're good. We're at 36.
One of the
We'll wrap it up with this.
One of the things that about a deeper still retreat, if we get 10 people as guests, sometimes three, four at times will volunteer to take the training to become
Nice.
volunteers.
Yeah.
That's a high turnover.
That is. Yeah. That's great.
And the volunteers, Steph, some of them have been doing this for 15 years.
Wow.
Maybe 15, maybe some. They've been doing it for
Well,
years.
I'm sure somebody's been involved since the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about the history of deeper still, but
It's interesting.
I know what we do, and I know what it's for, and I've seen those transformations, and I need to see that.
Yeah, 100% you do.
It's great.
It is great. It'll be cool.
Yeah, keep plugging away.
we are
I'd
gonna-
like to see those spots in April fill up in.
Yes.
And I can say, yeah, I did all that. I
Amen,
wouldn't say
brother.
that, but I'd like to.
It would just be so cool to see the spots all filled.
Yeah, it would be.
I think that's great.
Right.
That is really great. So,
And they're 100% free, by the way.
there you go. 100% free.
Forgot to mention that. You get room and board, decent food.
That's cool.
Nice settings in Chester County,
That's beautiful.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's awesome.
No, I appreciate the
Yep.
plugs.
100%, man. 100%.
All right.
Thank you so much. We hope everybody enjoyed this and got something out of this, because it's something that's so important for people to hear. It really is. God bless you all. Take care. Have a great week.
Thank you.